good afternoon or good evening, whichever it is for you. So, Canterbury Woods, I shot a 106 for my total score. Sorry I didn't include that in the video anywhere. I did not realize until I had uploaded it. I typically use the Grin app on my phone to record my rounds so it can track some stats and I can track my official handicap. Unfortunately, and I don't know where it happened, but somewhere during the round I lost track of what hole I was on. I missed a hole or something. So the score I have on the Grin app on my phone isn't accurate. I don't have fairways in regulation or green in regulation, but I have watched the footage back already and I did take some stats down. I'll read some stuff off to you guys here. 41 putts total, 13 2 putts and 5 3 putts, no 1 putts at all. I was almost shocked at how many putts I left like 6 to 12 inches out and on the low side. Feels like I was just watching myself tap in putt after putt. I think I probably thinned about 50% of my little chip shots around the green. So I've got many strokes to save around the green. Obviously I had no birdies, but I had 3 pars, 5 bogeys, 5 double bogeys, 1 triple, and 4 quads. That kind of tells me that I have 4 blow-up holes to eliminate each round in a sense. You know, it's weird, 5 bogeys, 5 doubles, 1 triple, and 4 quads. I feel like if I could turn those quads into doubles, then that would make a huge difference. So that alone would shave 8 strokes off my score. That would put me below 100 at a 98. It looks like short game is one of my biggest downfalls right now, and I'm going to talk about that in a couple minutes. Something else I should mention real quick, par 3s, I was 5 over through 5 par 3s. That's an average of 1 stroke per hole. Par 4s, I was 17 over through 8. That's 2.1 strokes per hole average. Par 5, 12 over through 5, and that's about 2.4 strokes per hole on average. So on one hand, it seems like my short game is costing me strokes. On the other hand, hey, it looks like the longer a hole gets, the more trouble I have on it. One thing I noticed on the par 5s was I would leave pretty easy, simple layup shots in horrible positions that would just leave me a horrible approach shot. A couple times it came from mishits, just not hitting the ball correctly. But I think if my decision making were a little bit better, my club selection were a little bit better, my ability to read the course and plan a comfortable strategy could be a little bit better. I'm very proud overall of how I've been doing on the par 3s, not just on this past round, but also at the round I played at Pembroke Pines. There was only 1 par 3 I did worse than a bogey, and on that I got a triple bogey. And that's just kind of a blow-up hole that I need to eliminate. I need to get to a range more often. I need to spend probably a couple days on the range every week. I need to go see Matt again. He's the assistant pro that I've been working with on my swing. More on that in a second. Going back to my short game, it is very strange to me. Well, it's not strange. It's very interesting to me that the one part of the game I felt more confident at than others is the one I'm failing at the most. When I'm in my room and I'm hitting off of a nice soft carpet, I can basically hit perfect chip shots, just one after the other, 50% wedge shots, one after the other. I thought within 50 yards to the pin, I'd be a sniper going into this season. Spent hours and hours and hours just shot after shot and working on hitting the ball first and listening to whether I'm scraping the carpet or hitting the ball first, then scraping the carpet. Hours on my putting, just making sure I'm lined up on my correct line, and when I hit the ball, it travels on that line. Realizing that hitting off of a carpet and putting on a carpet isn't the same experience at all, but trying to practice and focus my thoughts accordingly to that. And as I'm sure you guys have seen, you know, I can be 40 yards from the green or just around the green and still take, you know, 4 or 5 shots to get up and down, 3 on a good hole. I did not successfully get up and down within 2 on any hole in this last round I played. And kind of on the other side of that, and a little counterintuitive, I find it kind of interesting. My favorite club right now, the club that I'm most comfortable with, is my 4-iron. Par 3s for me last year would mess with my head so much that I could barely get off the tee box, but now it feels like I just walk up on the tee box, put my ball in, and swing the club, and hey, I'm on the green, and I got a putt for birdie, and I'll two-putt it from wherever for par. And obviously, that feels really good. I think it's the confidence now that I've built off the first couple that are leading into each successive par 3, where I'm just like, oh, hey, you know, I got this. And maybe I just get on the long par 4s and the par 5s, and I look down and I just see so many different spots where I could screw up, and so many different spots where I don't want to end up, that now it's the par 4s and the 5s that are messing with my head mentally. That all being said, I think for me, improvement right now is going to come, or the most improvement right now is going to come from just working on making good contact, making good, consistent contact, knowing or getting to a point with my game where I can step up to the ball and at least know, hey, I can hit this maybe within 5 yards or 5 feet left or right of where I want it to go. I don't need to start working on shaping my ball shots. I don't need to start working on trying to hit greens from more than 175, 190 yards out. My goals right now aren't even really course related. Obviously, I'd like to keep breaking 100 consistently. Breaking 90 is my potential goal for this season. My biggest goal right now for the weeks and months going forward is just to try to spend maybe like 4 to 10 hours on a practice green every week, pitching and chipping balls to within 3 to 6 feet, putting at about 90% drop rate at about 3 to 6 feet, hopefully 100 from 3 and more like 80 from 6 feet. I think time and a little bit of structured practice is all I need. I think it's there. All of those putts that I left just outside. Oh my God, it drives me crazy how many putts could have gone in the hole. The greens were in pretty not so great condition. I don't know if you guys saw, but a few of my putts right off the putter face would just like jump off the ground. But it comes down to the fact that I need to putt better and not the green's fault, you know what I mean? I'd also like to spend 4 to 10 hours every week on a range, hitting off of grass, not mats. I'll try to avoid mats as much as possible. There are some very specific things with my swing that I'm working on. I won't go too far into detail. Maybe I'll do a whole separate video on my thoughts on my swing. One of the biggest things I can tell you guys, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, ballooning shots. It's very easy for me. Instead of staying down through the rotation, I like to come up out of it. That causes, number one, I can dig into the ground if that happens before I get to the ball, or I can launch my driver higher than you probably hit your 7-iron. Sometimes I'll hit my 60 degree, what feels like perfect contact. It'll go about 200 feet in the air and only 40 yards in front of me. That doesn't happen 100% of the time. I do hit some shots that I am pretty proud of and that I would take going forward. I would feel like I'd be proud of those shots as like a 15 handicapper or 10 handicapper. So I think it's all there. I think I need to continue to get some of the winter rust off. I need to refine my swing a little bit and just continue focusing on the spots where I'm losing the most shots right now. Driver is somewhat of a problem for me. I can maybe keep it on the fairway about 50% of the time, probably less than that if I'm being realistic. There's absolutely no reason for me to be hitting 250, 275 yard drives straight every single time right now. I can play my 4-iron off the tee just fine. The holes that I know that I can hit driver on, you saw, I generally end up about fine. My problem is clearly not getting off the tee box, but what happens after I get off the tee box. So I have no reason to go to the driving range and just hit 60 drives over and over again until I can get a straight ball flight. That's down the road. I groove out my iron swing more, groove out my wedge swing a little bit more, and I feel like the driver, that'll fall into place a little bit more naturally when it needs to. I never hit my 7-wood, or it's technically lofted to a 5-wood. It's a Mizuno. I'll do a what's in the bag in just a moment here. But yeah, I absolutely never hit that thing. I think I'm going to get rid of it. I really don't like it, and I'll show you why in a minute. I think I'm going to get a 2-iron, probably the Srixon, the new Srixon 2-iron, the one that's kind of like a half utility, half hybrid, half iron sort of thing. Oh, and I forgot to mention that short-ish par 4 that I played, that I picked up my ball on, that I did not finish. I counted that as a double par with 3 putts. I'm sure if I had kept playing it, it probably would have been more than that, but I think that was fair. I'm just gonna wipe my hands clean. I'm not gonna count the round towards my handicap. Anyway, I have my bag right here, so I'll show you guys what's going on with it and what I'm using. So here we are. This is my setup here. We'll start with the driver. I hope this is a good angle. I wasn't too sure how to get the best one here, but I've got a little beanie head cover. It is tailor-made. The arrow burner. Not a lot of pure marks on the face, as you can see. That'll be consistent throughout most of my clubs. Here we have that 7 wood I was talking about. The Mizuno JPX EZ. These ridges here, I don't know what they were thinking, and maybe I'm the only one that doesn't like them, but they really catch into the ground. They really catch and drag and get stuck, and I really don't like it. So I think I've made good contact with that club about once of probably the only 20 times I've hit it. My irons are the Wilson Staff C200s. This is the 7 iron. A lot of hits off the toe there. I have 4 iron through pitching wedge. It came with a gap wedge, but I lost it. I left it on the course sometime last year, and it never got returned to the pro shop. Late last year, when I broke 100 for the first time, I got myself a Titleist SM7 Vokey, 48 degree. It's the same exact loft as the gap wedge that I have, or had, excuse me. Last up, nothing special. I have a 52, 56, and a 60 Wilson Harmonized Soul Grind wedge. They were like, I think 10 or 20 bucks a piece. The paint on my 60 is pretty ugly. I tried to do a paint fill on it, and it was successful. I just didn't like the colors, so I'm gonna do it again. That's just after I hit it with some acetone. This is what it usually looks like. It's just white and red for the letters. I have Cleveland TFI 2135 putter. I like mallet shaped putters. That's pretty much the only reason I got it. It was about 60 bucks last year, early last year at the end of the 2017 season. It's a nice putter. I like it. The whole idea of the putter is that this line behind is the exact height of the center of the ball, so you can line it up whether your eyes are over it or not. That's not really why I bought it, but I like it. I just don't like the fact that you can't pick up balls with it. The bag is new this year. My previous bag didn't have great shoulder straps, gave me a lot of pain because I like to walk 18 holes. I don't really like to take a cart when I'm by myself. I've been thinking about getting a push cart. I'm just not too sure yet. There's some very nice shoulder straps. It's a little bit lighter, and it has, I think, a better selection of pockets. Got pitch mark tool, pencil, Sharpie in that pocket, gold dollar, New Hampshire Department of Transportation token, a Russian 10-cent from 1993, Spanish 2 something, worth 2 of something from whatever some year, a Canadian $2 coin from 1996. Those are my ball markers. A lot of these pockets are pretty empty. I like to clean my clubs and my bag out after almost every round or every other round, or I try to if I have the time. I've been playing the Callaway, I don't know if you can see that, the Callaway Diablo Tours. They're on sale at Dick's right now for like 12 bucks a box. So I picked up a couple, and they're decent balls. They're 3-piece balls. They feel good. Off a wedge and a putter, and that's pretty much all I really aim for. They're cheap, so when I lose them, I'm not losing all my money. 4 gloves. I like to be able to change them frequently. During a round, my hands always get very sweaty. Black snake eyes glove, white plain Callaway glove, glove that looks like a skeleton hand that I got as a gift because my family knows me pretty well, and just a FootJoy glove. Couple bags of tees here. I got them sorted out into long tees for drives and shorter to medium tees. because the length doesn't really matter. Those are tees that are just barely going to be sticking up out of the ground anyway for the irons. Metal water bottle. And I've got a Callaway Valuables bag that was a gift. Some really old crumpled Band-Aids, box cutter knife in there, just in case I should need those things on a golf course for whatever reason. Oh, and I got this rangefinder for Christmas. It's kind of a cheaper one, I think, but it works well. I like it. It's the Tech. Definitely comes in handy. I have a few towels, but the one I got on here, the Beeve. It's a course around here. So yeah, beginning of the 2019 season, beginning of the journey to try to become as good as I can, as quick as possible, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. I don't know when these videos will be going up, or kind of in what order I'll be putting them up, but I figured I'd just kind of get some stuff filmed, and yeah, I will see you next time.